Hey, it's Mr. Gallant. So the idea of this video is to walk you through 3.5.4 Bubble Wrap 2.0. Either I'm not there or you need a little extra help with this program. And that's what I'm here to do is help you. So before this lesson, we watched a video on what's called top-down design. And this is basically what I've been talking to you about this entire time, that you don't want to try to do the whole program all at once. You want to focus on the smallest aspect of the program and get bigger and bigger. And ideally, that will get you the entirety of your program. So after that, you took a quiz. And then we did the practice bubble wrap, which is basically the program already done for you. It already had all the blue circles and ran through, and boom, that's supposed to be the bubble wrap. Now, for 3.5.4 Bubble Wrap 2.0, the idea is to make it more believable. We want to add highlights to our bubble wraps, which is this little white part of the circle over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on, okay, what is the basic part of our program? Now, normally I would say, yes, let's focus on the bubble wrap first, but guess what? They've already given that to you. So right here at the top is our speed. Our speed set at 0, which is the fastest we can set it at. Then we have a function right here called draw circle row, which is drawing the full row of blue circles right there. And then the next one is move up a row, which brings it up to the next row. And right here, we have the set position. This is not a function. This is just how to start off right down here in the bottom left-hand corner, just like it did in the video. And then here's where it draws a circle, moves up a row, and it does that in a loop 10 times. Now, we don't need to worry about bubble wrap. That is already done for us. We need to focus on the idea behind the basic part of the program. And what we're going to be trying to do is we're going to draw a circle. But the problem is we only want part of the circle to be visible. We only want this part of the circle to be visible. The rest of it we want to be invisible. I know I'm really bad at drawing circles. I understand. So what we're going to do is we are going to work on just doing the circle, which means I really don't want all this extra bubble wrap here. So I don't want to delete this part of the program. I do want to save it for later. So if I want to save it for later without deleting it, that means I need to save it as a function. So I'm going to define this one as start underscore position, open close parentheses, colon, and indent that over. And I'm going to save this part as a function as define bubble underscore wrap, open close parentheses, colon, and indent everything over. Now, if I run my code, Tracy the turtle does absolutely nothing. Now, in the assignment, it actually walks me through what it wants the radius of my circle to be, and it wants the radius to be 10. So if I do circle 10, oops, a little extra there, and I run this program, I draw a circle with a radius 10. However, it draws the entire circle and it draws it as black. I want 3/4 of the circle to be invisible and that only that tip part right there to actually be visible. So what we have to do is we have to do advanced circle commands. And if I go to docs and I scroll down, right here, it tells me how to draw just 1/4 of a circle. Okay. And what I want to do is I put what the radius is and how far I want it to go. So if I have it do circle with a radius of 10 and I only want it to go 90 degrees and I run that program, and in fact, I'm going to pin up here just so you can see uh, where Tracy is. Okay. So I'm going to run this program again. See, it only did the bottom part of the circle. So if I, for some reason, change the color and I go to color, let's say blue, and then I wanted to do the next part of the circle. So the next part would be another 90 degrees. Watch this. Okay, so it did the first part of the circle black, it did the next 90 degrees blue, and now I wanted to finish the circle with whatever the original color was. So I'm going to change the color back to black. And then I want to do the rest of the circle, which is a radius of 10. And I've already done 90 plus 90, which is 180. And the whole circle's 360, which means I only have 180 left. So if I do this, boom, you can see that this part of the circle's black and the top right there is blue. Now, obviously, to match up what's over here, I don't want it to be black and blue. I actually want it to be white, uh, which is why you're able to see it right there. And the rest of it, I want to be pin up. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off with pin up, draw the first 90. And then instead of changing the color to blue, I'm going to put pin down, color white, and then draw the next 90, and then pin up and draw the rest of our circle. So if I do this part of the program, you can't see anything because first of all, the only color I colored was white and the background's white, and then everything else, the pin's up. But the fact that I can't see anything right now tells me that we're doing good. So what we need to do now is I'm going to save this as a function, and it actually tells us what it wants us to name the function, which is make highlight. So I'm going to define it as make underscore highlight. Boom. Okay. Now, I need to focus on my starting position for my making my highlight. So for my starting position, so I'm going to call, let's see, I need to pin up because anytime I set position, I need pin up, set position, and I need to think about what my X and Y coordinates are. Now, my original X and Y coordinates is negative 180, negative 200. And if I set that negative 180, that's going to line it up with the middle of this circle, which is good. But if I set it up as negative 200, it's going to be drawing it right down here at the bottom. I don't want it to draw it at the bottom. I actually want to move it up by my radius here, my radius of my blue circle. So that would be, we're going to move it up by 10. So instead of negative 200, I'm going to try negative 190. Will this work? I don't know, but that's what we're going to see. And then after I get there, I want to do a pin down. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to test this position. So first thing we want to do is we want to draw our bubble wrap. So that's going to be start underscore position, open close parentheses. And then we want bubble underscore wrap, open close parentheses. And then we want it to do pin up, set the position, pin down, and then we want it to make underscore highlight. Okay, let's see how this turns out. I'm going to add a couple of spaces here just so that moves it up a little bit higher on the screen. So here, I'm making all of my circles, which is awesome. Boom, it made the highlight. It made it exactly where it's supposed to be. That is awesome. So now we need to think about, okay, how do I move it forward to the next circle? Well, it's actually going to be the same exact forward as I have right there. So I'm going to go back up to make highlight, and I'm going to put forward, because I already have a pin up. I don't need to put another pin up. Forward 40. Okay. Now, obviously, once it gets to the next spot, it needs to draw the highlight, which means this actually needs to be a loop. So for I in range, I need to see how many circles. Well, there's 10 circles. And then we're going to indent everything over. Now watch this. So it is drawing our bubbles, which we're doing good. Now it should do the highlights for the first row. Boom. Okay. Now, we're going to need to make a highlight on each row. So I'm going to do another for loop down here. So for I in range 10, because there's 10 rows, I want it to make a highlight. And after it does that, I need it to move up to the next row. Wait a minute, don't I already have a program for that? Yes, I do. From the bubble wrap, I have move up a row. So I can go right here and I can put move underscore up underscore a underscore row, open close parentheses. And if I run this, it's going to do my bubble wrap. And now it's doing my highlights on each row, which is awesome. So if I check my code, sure enough, I have all my green checks, which is awesome. And if I look here, we already had our bubble wrap program. Then we made our highlight circle by breaking it down piece by piece. So just the first 90 degrees and the second 90 degrees and the last 180. And then we had it repeat. We figured out where it needs to be at set position. And then we got it to repeat itself 10 times by moving forward by 40. And then we had it move up a row and do that 10 times. So here is the entirety of the 2.0 bubble wrap program. And again, I got all 5 of my green checks, so we're good there. So I'm just going to run it again one more time. There's all my bubble wraps, or my bubbles, my blue circles. Boom, there are my highlights. Boom. So again, this program can be difficult if you try to do too much all at once, but if you focus on a tiny bit at a time, it's really not going to be that difficult. So that is the end of 3.5.4 Bubble Wrap 2.0.